It makes me so happy. It brings back so many wonderful memories, and they shear the sheep to create yarn. For my traveler's notebook and the field note size, little samples here and there, so this is going to be my Textile Kit journal. Hello everybody and welcome back to Amity Bloom. My name is Nazy. Today is a super exciting day that I have been waiting for a while now. It is the first episode ever of the Amity Bloom Podcast. This podcast is focused on blooming your creativity and blooming within yourself. What I mean by focusing on creativity for the Amity Bloom podcast is I'm going to be talking about art in all forms. Journals primarily, number one, they have my heart, but any other craft and art and hobby that I primarily enjoy and that I wish to share with you all. What I mean by blooming within yourself is, if you've watched my Get to Know Me video, I talk a lot about myself, what I went through to bloom. I want to introduce that more into my channel because something about me that I can't really express that much with my tutorials, with my flip throughs, with, a journal with me. With this podcast, I'll be able to talk more in depth about important things that are truly important, not for myself, but for you guys as well, and goes hand in hand with blooming your creativity. You cannot bloom your creativity to do anything if you don't bloom within yourself first. So this is what the podcast is going to focus on. It's going to be a podcast all about creative and fun stuff, but at the same time, we're going to be talking about really important concepts and things that should be talked about a lot more. So this podcast is all about the things that make me happy, and I want to share it with you all. I am so excited to finally be able to film this first episode. I have been wanting to film a podcast for a while now, and I thought this would be the perfect time to do so. I just recently kind of moved around my studio space, and I found a little nook and corner that I can call my own. And I typically never film videos in this little corner just because this is where I sit down to journal. This is where I sit down to write my ideas down. This little corner is really special to me. It's my happy place. So I truly hope that you guys enjoy this little podcast in my little corner. Definitely let me know in the comments below if you guys are excited about this. I am planning for the Amity Bloom podcast to be going up every 2 weeks or so, maybe 2 to 3, depending on how busy I am. But there will always for sure be one podcast at least every month, preferably 2. And I think that might be achievable just because I love sitting down in front of the camera and interacting with you all. I will also be able to answer your questions in the comments below. Whatever questions you guys ask, I will answer them for the next podcast. So that way, not only will I be creating the podcast, but I will also be able to do kind of like a question and answer with every single podcast. So on to what's going on this week. This week is very special and really exciting because for the 4 days following this podcast, I will be releasing a video for every day following up to the release of my textile embellishment kit. I know, it's been a long time coming. This kit, my mother and I have been working on this kit for I think it's been 2 months now, but nonetheless, we have finally reached the finish line. All of the kits are done, sorted, packaged, and ready to be sent to you all. This is definitely my favorite textile embellishment kit release thus far, just because I have added some new things into the kit. For the next couple of days, you will be getting a tutorial that a lot of you have been requesting and that I am so excited to finally be sharing with you. You will be getting a journal with me and the final release and reveal of the textile embellishment kit, both bohemian and linen and lace. Not to mention there's going to be a giveaway, coupon codes, and free things that you will be able to receive with the release of the textile kit. So I am so excited. I cannot wait to finally share, as it's been something that we've been working on for 2 months now, and the time has finally come to release it. Last week on Instagram, I'm at Amity Bloom. I posted a story of a little flip through of a journal with me that I'm going to be doing very soon. I actually have them right in front of me. For those of you who have been wanting more journal with me's in my Heirloom Envelopes, I loved how this journal with me turned out. I'm not going to share too much just because I want it to be a surprise, but I really think you guys are going to love it. It was a lot of fun because I also got to teach you how to use the textiles and the metal embellishments that you will be getting in your Bohemian textile kit. I have the other Bohemian Dreams envelope, and every time I finish them, I just keep adding them to my stack. Hopefully you can see it on camera. I just keep adding it to my stack, and by the end, my stack I think will be about that big because I keep putting things in there. And I'm just so excited to when it's finally done and I can share a final flip through, and then I can put it away, and 50 years from now when I'm 70, I'll find it in my closet and I'll be like, what is this? And it'll just trigger memories, and it'll remind me of, you know, the wonderful time that I had not only creating this and decorating it, but also remembering my life. Also next to me, I have the cover that I made as an example of what you could do with the Bohemian Textile Kit. I think this is going to be my next journal cover. I just fell in love with it. I was going to use it to create a journal for a friend of mine, but I can't bring myself to give it away just because this is the textile kit and this really embodies the work of my mother and I think I'm going to use this as my textile embellishment kit journal or workbook where I will document the textiles that I use in the kits, all of my notes for when my supplier contacts me, little samples here and there. So this is going to be my textile kit journal, so I'm very excited about that. And I wanted to share that, and let me know if you guys would like to see a setup of how to set up a journal, not for journaling, but as like a workbook or as like a planner for your business. I think that would be a lot of fun to film. So let me know if you'd like to see a finished flip through of when this is done. I also mentioned that there was going to be a tutorial up, I believe in 2 days. And the tutorial focuses on something that involves the bohemian style, and it involves some of the things that you will be getting as your embellishments in the textile embellishment kit. I don't want to show too much just because I want it to be a surprise, but if you can hear this, I hope that gives you a little hint. And I know a lot of you will love this tutorial because it's something that I have been wanting to film for a long time, and I thought it would be the perfect time to film it with the release of my textile embellishment kit. So definitely stay tuned in 2 days for the release of the tutorial. I've been getting a lot of questions as to why I don't create the textile embellishment kit every month or so, and the reason is I just physically I can't because it's a lot of work. My mother and I both have to cut around 200 to 300 different types of fabrics, not including the ruffles and the trims, and then sorting out all of the packaging and making the packaging look pretty. It's a lot of work, and pretty much we dedicate 1 month to the whole entire process. That does not include the time that I have to wait for shipping with the fabrics. I have a supplier that sends me fabrics from the Middle East and Europe, and that takes a long time for it to get to me, and it's extremely expensive. All of the fabric and all of the embellishments are 100% authentic. They're brought back from the Middle East. The only thing that I do purchase here in America is the packaging, the beads, the sequins, that kind of thing. But the big caboodle of the whole embellishment kit is purchased overseas, and that is extremely expensive. And that is not something that I will compromise in order for me to sell every month. And that is not something that I would like to do. I am extremely proud of the Bohemian kit and the linen and lace kit, and I pride myself on giving you guys the most authentic textiles as possible, especially given the fact that we live in America and we don't have access to these textiles, and I am fortunate enough to have met the supplier and I'm able to purchase these textiles that you have seen me use in my journals. I really want to share that with you. And that is what I pride the kit on, giving you authentic, 100% top quality grade textiles and metal embellishments. I don't want to supply products that you can easily find at your local craft store, your dollar store, or that you can purchase from China. That is the reason as to why I don't do the textile kit every month. It has to be every 2 months to 3 months, depending on how long I wait for the shipment and depending on how busy my mom and I are. with everything else that goes on in our life. So I hope that you guys do understand. We put our heart and soul into the kit, and I think that does show. So if you're interested in purchasing a kit, definitely stay tuned for Saturday for the final reveal of the entire textile embellishment kit. This is my little baby, and I am so proud of what the textile kit has become, because they are bundles of joy and love, sweat and tears, and it makes me so happy when you guys receive your kits and you guys tell me how much you love them, and it makes me want to continue producing top quality kits that you cannot find anywhere else. So I want to thank you so much, and that is the reason as to why I also wanted to create tutorials and provide you with extra content, because I want to give back and I want to say thank you for the incredible support that I have received for the textile kit. It's something that I created and I put my heart into, and it just makes me so happy to read all of your wonderful comments and to be able to supply these beautiful textiles to you. I also want to talk about my personal journal. Now, I have been using, and let me grab the little baby. It's getting heavy. You're getting heavy. Every single time that I show it on camera, embarrassingly, it keeps growing and growing. It needs to go on a diet. But this is my personal journal. Now, this journal and I have been in a kerfuffle, I think that's how you say it, kerfuffle, for about, I think it's going to be 2 years now. I have been in this journal for 2 years. Now, granted, this isn't the only journal I've been journaling in. The reason why it's taken me so long to finish this journal is because I've started like 5 other journals, and I've kind of been like going back and forth between each. Let me know in the comments below, be honest, if you also have about 10 different journals that you go back and forth with, because that is my problem, and because of that I can't finish one journal. And I want to know, what do you guys do to finish a journal when you have 10 different ones that you go back and forth with? Some of them are of course like art journals, some of them are like my pocketbook of verse, others are like spiritual journals, and then this is just my personal kind of documenting my life and my memories journal. And not to mention, I'm starting a new type of journal in like the next month, so which will also be a class, so stay tuned. So I will be having about 11 journals that I will have to go back and forth with. But this journal is almost finished. I just wanted to give a little update. I just need to go in and add some pictures, because that's pretty much, I don't know if I'm considered a lazy journaler, but I like to decorate first, as you all have seen in my journal with me. I decorate first. I typically have a little notepad like the ones that you get from the Target dollar spot, and I write the date and what I did. I just do little bullet points so that when I go into my journal, not in chronological order, I just go in wherever I feel like that memory should be documented in. So it doesn't bother me if the first page is April the 12th and the second page is like January the 1st, and then the third page is like May the 5th. So for me, that system works well, and I do that because I'm very busy with everything that goes on in my life. I can't really dedicate the time, and I should. I sound so bad, but I don't dedicate the time enough to sit down, decorate my journal, put my pictures in, and write down my whole story. I don't. That takes a long time for me, and for me it's really therapeutic, and sometimes when I do my journal with me, it's not as therapeutic as if I do it on my own time listening to music. So that is why I do my system, and I get lots of questions as to why I journal like that, and that's the reason. So right now, the last thing that I always leave for the end is printing my pictures. I do not like printing pictures. It's something that really bores me. I don't like to do it. So I leave that till the very end. So I go in, decorate first, then I write down what I want to write down, then I go in and I put my pictures according to the memory. So that's how I journal. So this is almost finished, and let me show you a little sneaky peek. I did this a couple days ago. I don't know if you can see it on camera. I want to share some of these pages because they're just so beautiful. Look at that little fabric flower. It's just, this journal, when I open it up, it makes me so happy. It brings back so many wonderful memories, and I just can't wait to finally be able to share it with you. So almost finished, almost done. Let's tie up the little baby. As you can see, the lace little trim that I have to basically close this little puppy up expands and it expands. It gets bigger each time. It's kind of like me during the holiday season. But yeah, that's the current situation on my personal journal. Something else that I wanted to talk about is my Pocketbook of Verse journal. You might be wondering what happened to your original Pocketbook of Verse cover. I still have it. I just cut it up. There is something about me that if I get it in my mind that I don't like something or I want to change it, I cut it up. I cut it up before I really think things through, and sometimes that has a negative effect. But yeah, books, papers, they're just not safe near me because I cut everything up. And that's exactly what I did with my Pocketbook of Verse cover. But I cut things up, but I saved them. So there's a difference, right? But I saved it. So this is the Pocketbook of Verse cover that you might be familiar with for the past like a year and a half. But I wanted to save this because this is the original, Pocketbook of Verse cover. And so I wanted to keep it in here as, memory. But this is the new cover that I have created. I loved this a lot more. This is more of my style. And if you're like me and your style tends to change a lot, that doesn't mean that you have to stick to the same cover your whole life. That's one of the problems that I faced. I put a cover on a journal on a notebook, and then 6 months from then, I want to change it. I want to cover it up. I want to do something different. And then 6 months from then, I want to change it. That is what happened to my personal journal. If you remember, this was not here originally. There was a different floral image that was here originally. You can still kind of see it peeking through the fabric. I then cut out this floral rose fabric and I added it on top. And I love it. I don't want to change it now. This is my journal now. So I change things until I finally reach a happy medium. And that is what I did with this. I wanted it to resemble more of my style now. So I changed the Pocketbook of Verse cover. This is a beautiful floral vintage wallpaper that I got from an estate sale. And this one was really special because I went to the estate sale and I entered the kitchen and I was just, like it was my dream kitchen. It was the beautiful kitchen that I have ever seen. It was like a country kitchen with white everything. And they had this little wallpaper on a little section and I fell in love with it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to take that wallpaper home with me. And I was thinking, like, would it be possible to ask the owner if I could just like scratch off a little bit to just put in my journal, at least for reference? Or if I could take a picture and then like create a printable and keep it forever. I sound crazy, I know. But I didn't have to because when I asked the owner if they had any more of that wallpaper and they were selling a roll of that same wallpaper. Needless to say, I was a very happy camper that day. So that story in and itself is just so special to me. And so I wanted to cover my Pocketbook of Verse in it. And then I haven't done anything to my Pocketbook of Verse since you have last seen. I think I haven't shown like a couple of pages like this one here, but I haven't done the rest of it. As you can see, it's all white. So this is the next process video that I'm going to be filming probably today, and the video will be up next week. So I can't wait to share this with you. I asked on Instagram a vote if you guys wanted a tutorial for a TN folder or for a Pocketbook of Verse process. And the TN folder won, but this one was a close second. So I'm going to still film this for those of you who wanted to see how I basically art journal in my Pocketbook of Verse. For my traveler's notebook in the field note size, I have been using it as a knitting book. As you can see here, I made a little insert and it says knitting book. I will film a final flip through of it very, very soon. And I have been keeping a couple of notes for my knitting, like the types of yarns that I use. I am completely new to knitting. I have never knit before. My grandmother's knit. So I really have an interest to learn how to knit, to learn how to crochet. So this is the book that I'm going to be documenting that in. The next insert is just random notes for things that I need to buy when I'm out at the stores. And here is one of the folders that I have. I also recently designed new business cards for Amity Bloom. Before this, I have been making my own business cards, printing them out, cutting them out. It was a lot to do. And I just recently got some professional business cards and I love it because it has that beautiful textile font that I love. And it's just so pretty. So I have that in my little folder for when I'm out and about and might need to give a business card. And then this is my sewing book. Hopefully you can see it. This is my sewing book, and right here I jot down things for when I want to sew. Like for patterns, sometimes you need to buy certain threads, certain materials, so I write all of that in this little book. Definitely let me know in the comments below if you yourself are into knitting or if you're into sewing, as I would love to talk about knitting and sewing with these podcasts. I hopefully can see over there I have some beautiful mohair yarn, and oh, there's just something about yarn and something about this type of fiber that makes my heart sing. This is some gorgeous violet and pink mohair. I actually have a friend from where I worked. Her family owns a farm and they have sheep, and they shear the sheep to create yarn. So I've been getting a lot of my yarn from their farm, and I have been experimenting with dyeing it. This I have not dyed myself. This I purchased from a local fair here where I live, but it's some beautiful mohair. So definitely let me know if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about this, because this is what's used to basically create fabric. All fabric, all textiles come from a type of fiber. And I think that's my fascination with fiber, especially being a textile art and design student. I see this medium a lot at my school, but I've never really worked with it, only for certain projects and things. And I know how to work with it, I just don't do it here at my studio and for my personal time. So I'm getting more into using fiber and threads and yarn and knitting and doing some other types of fiber art. And I would love to share that with you if you guys are interested, so definitely let me know. Another update is my little binder journal. Now these are just the journals that are currently on my desk that I'm working with currently. I have more journals over there that I'm not going to show yet. I might leave that for future podcasts, but this is the other journal that I'm currently working on now. It's my binder journal. And this journal, let me see if I can take some of this stuff out here. I'm using this one. Hopefully you can see the first page. Oh, who's calling me? DeBerry, Florida. I don't know anyone from DeBerry, Florida, but I'm using this as my own project kind of binder. And I basically am putting like all of my textile embellishments that I create for myself, all of like the things that I create for my shop. I always create one for myself to like keep as reference. And this is kind of going to be served as like a reference idea binder. Obviously, I'm going to decorate it in like a journal format, but it's going to be kind of like an idea and reference binder. And I am so excited to share more process videos and the final flip through when this is finally finished of my little idea / progress binder journal thing. So this is something else that I tend to work on. Let me get some coffee here. This I got from a local pottery sale that was local to where I live. And it's a beautiful little ceramic pot. I think it was for flowers. I'm not sure, but I bought it for my coffee. I just love it. It's the perfect size for my hands since I have small little hands. So it's the perfect size for me. And it has a really cute like little, hopefully you can see it. It has a really cute, it looks like a little corn husk. And on the inside it's purple. And it makes me so happy. So if you've got your coffee near you, cheers. Last thing that I'm going to be sharing today, This is a new magazine that I have recently found and fell head over heels in love with. And that is very dangerous, because when I find something that I love, I tend to buy a lot of it. And I tend to be very uncontrollable, and I tend to not think things through, and I tend to just buy everything I see in my sight. And this is a magazine that has stolen my heart recently. It's called Where Women Create, and it's all about inspiring workspaces of extraordinary women. Just seeing not only the picture that they used on the cover and on the back, I mean, oh, like studio goals, right? Beautiful. But the title, Where Women Create. You know, women, we have grown so much. We go through so much. And I myself can say I'm a woman now. You know, when I was in high school, I was not confident, to say the least. I was not confident at all. I struggled with mental issues. I struggled with an eating disorder. I was really low. And I wasn't strong. I never stuck up for myself. My beliefs, I put them on the back burner and went with whatever, you know, anyone else would say. And now I'm nothing like that. And when I think of women, this is what I imagine: a strong, independent, powerful, confident woman. You know, I look at my grandmothers, I look at my mother, I look at myself now, and I look at my little sister who is growing up and blooming to be a woman. It makes me so proud that I'm part of this movement where women are finding their voice, women are growing in our society, women are becoming entrepreneurs, and women are creating items and things just for women, and this just has my heart right now, and I really, really recommend you to buy it. It's kind of pricey. It's $16.99, so it's $17 in the US, so it is a little pricey for a magazine, but I completely recommend it. Treat yourself, just like Parks and Recs with Donna. Treat yourself. So I am obsessed with this magazine. I'm still not done reading all of it, but this is just to show you some of the beautiful pictures that are in this magazine, especially if you're a creative woman and you're into art, if you have your own art business, if you just love reading about empowering women and seeing what they do, if you just love reading about women and seeing all of the amazing things and amazing artwork that women create. I mean, hello, that's just amazing. And not only that, but you also get to learn about a lot of artists that you didn't know about. Like, for example, there was a woman that made beautiful jewelry out of things that she'd find in the ocean, and I recently purchased one of the necklaces because I could not, like, this is just amazing, and it's pure art, and you get to know a lot about her. It's such an amazing magazine that if you're into blooming your creativity and supporting women and you're just all about this, I mean, oh my gosh, this is just inspiration to me. So this magazine inspires me. It's definitely one that I will treasure. Oh, I mean, look at that. Ooh, the pretty watercolor. This reminds me of Allie Brown with, her style of watercoloring. So it really touches all bases. It has textile art in here. There's paper art. There's organization. There's watercolor art. There's jewelry making. Everything and anything that women are creating, they put in here. And they come with a new issue every 2 months. So this one is April and May. I bought this from Joann's. They might have this at Barnes & Noble. I'm pretty sure they might have it. Or you can get it online as well. Maybe you can get it online for a little bit cheaper. Definitely recommend this magazine. It's absolutely wonderful. So I think that's it to what I wanted to talk about today. I basically wanted to talk about the podcast, what the podcast was going to be about, give you guys some updates to the release of the Textile Embellishment Kit, show you the progress that I've been making on my personal journals, talk about journals a little bit, definitely, and of course show you guys that amazing magazine that it was killing me not being able to share, so I'm glad I finally shared. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like it, or do you guys prefer other types of videos? I really hope that you guys liked this because this just makes me so happy and it fills me up with joy, and it's something that I really love to do. I love talking, obviously. If you haven't realized that by now, I love talking, and I would get in trouble when I was little for talking too much. Not when I first moved to America because I didn't know English, so I was really shy. But when I finally learned the language, whew, I could not stop talking. And that's definitely a story that I will share for another podcast, is my journey coming to America and as an immigrant, because I've gotten lots of questions and I can share some funny and cute little pictures about that. So many hugs, so many kisses to all of you. I hope that through these podcasts, because I know when I'm filming Journal with Me's and tutorials, you only see my hands, and there's only so much that you can get from a person's hands. This is why I want to create these podcasts. I want you guys to see my face. I want to talk with you. I want to have conversations with you. I want you to feel as if we're in your room, hanging out, drinking some coffee, and just talking. And that is what the podcast will be all about. So I cannot express how much you guys mean the world to me. I can't express how much fun this has been. And of course, as you always know, I wish you guys an incredible, amazing, wonderful, fantastic day filled with so much peace and so much love that you go to sleep with a smile on your face. And I don't know why I'm getting emotional. It's just, I just think I get a lot of messages about some people that watch me that are going through something really tough, or going through a sickness, through cancer, through depression. And when they tell me that my videos make them happy, that my videos allow them to go to bed at night with a smile on their face, I can't express that in words. Oh my goodness. I was not planning on crying because after this I have to go grocery shopping and I'm going to be a mess. But yeah, I love you all. And what I mean, and I really mean, I love you all. It's just plain and simple. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for the next couple of days. There will be more videos, tutorials, and more things to come. And I cannot wait to see you guys again.